Hello, everybody. It's Tesla time. As you know, there's a lot of crazy things happening in the world of AI and compute, and I had a button undone. Sorry about that. And it's time. I'll be doing this once a week from here on in because there's so much changing. AI compute is increasing at 10x every 9 months. AI will exceed the sum of all human intelligence in less than 5 years. And next year, AI will already be smarter than the smartest human, if it's not already. These are things that you need to know about. And this is a story of AI and disruption. As you know, ever since 2022, there's only two narratives in our world. If you follow this channel, you know what they are. It's crypto and it's AI. This is going to be the AI portion. We're going to break it down. And this is very, very important. And anybody who watches this channel anyway, I know you got two bags. Crypto, AI, Tesla. Anyway, we're going to talk about a lot of AI stuff. Very, very exciting. But Tesla currently have nearly 7 million vehicles on the road. They're doing 2,000 miles a second, and that's all being used to train AI at scale. And Tesla now has 3 of the world's largest AI clusters. For what? We'll see. And this will be heavy on Robotaxi, energy, valuations, price targets, TA, competition, and a ton more. So sorry for that long intro. And thank you to everybody on Patreon that make this possible. The dumb founder here every day working towards the path of financial freedom. Patreon member LFGGG. Yes, let's go, go, go. Thank you. Yes. And again, in investing, you got to be in the 1% of assets because they are the ones that make a difference. And you can go back all the way, 130, 140 years. Same story every time. Let's get into the story today, though. This is inspired by the Tesla AI roadmap that was unleashed. And thank you to the mods in the chat. K8, Sean Donnelly, TND, Tesla. Love you guys. But Tesla shot up nearly 6% this morning after a big gain yesterday as well. Tesla was $200 on Thursday last week. So less than a week, it's gone up, more than 15%. Thank you, Dude Travels. But the stock is still down for the year, but now everything is coming to a head. If you look at this roadmap, okay, very quickly, you'll see, I think Elon said in a conference call in July, it was likely to launch FSD overseas by the end of this year or early next. Well, it's happening. Yes, they may need some regulatory approval in certain countries, but you can't stop advancements in this area. China as well. And here you can see the roadmap, the Tesla AI team. Again, it's an AI company, AI robotics company. People think it's a car company. It's not. The robots happen to have wheels. There's any difference. But 12.5.2 is coming out. CyberTruck Auto Park, CyberTruck FSD, end-to-end stack on network, on highway is coming too. Unpark, park and reverse and FSD is coming as well. I think that's kind of what they call Banish. It already has ASS right now, which was launched. And version 13 is coming with 6x improved miles between necessary interventions. I know some people that can drive 250 miles and 300 miles with zero intervention. That means they can go 1,800 miles without an intervention. And again, the hugest news, of course, Q1 2025, FSD in Europe and FSD in China. No problem with regulatory approval in China. It's going to happen. We're going to break down what that means as well for the stock price too. Now, Tesla, another view of it. What does rolling out to China and Europe actually mean? Well, Tesla have about 2 million cars running around in China and about 2 million in Europe and 2 million in the US and another million in different parts of the world. That's 6 million cars. And of course, me being a numbers guy, what does that mean for the stock? So let's throw together a very crude, little simple table. And I've done very, very sophisticated price prediction models with Hans and Cern and others. But just take this. Hey, Rusty Woods. North America, EU, and China, 6 million vehicles. The percentage converting to FSD, I assume just 15%, being the conservative low bag. That's the number of cars next year. Potential 900,000. If the monthly subscription fee is $100, that means annual revenue, 1.08 billion. If it's 20% conversion, 1.44 billion. If it's 25% conversion, 1.8 billion. And a very conservative impact on the stock price would be $26 for the 15% conversion, $35 for 20%, and $44 for 25%. Remember, these are extremely conservative numbers, but if you've tried FSD, if you've used it, if you've seen all the iterations, you will not get behind the wheel of a car without it. We'll talk about safety in a little while too. But what does this mean? It's not just how many people would convert and pay $100 a month. Imagine you're selling a car for 30, 40 grand. That turns into a SaaS software model as well. That is the really exciting thing that people have to get their heads around. But there's more. Because there are 3 OEMs, 1, 2, 3, that are in talks with Tesla to license their FSD right now as we speak. We know in 5 to 10 years, definitely, well, somewhere between 5 and 10 years, probably sooner, if a car doesn't have FSD, it may not even be allowed on the road, and it'll be completely obsolete. It'll be a dumb car. But look at this. This is a story of Volkswagen and RIVN. Volkswagen to invest $5 billion in the EV startup RIVN for a software license so they can understand how to make software work on a car. $5 billion. What would happen? And FSD, RIVN doesn't have any FSD. They've got something that plays music and Bluetooth, maybe the ability to do an over-the-air update. That's it. FSD is the crown jewel. Can you imagine what it's worth? Imagine 3 OEMs spending more than $5 billion. Maybe a lot more, and ongoing revenue too. It's mind-blowing. Let's get into the AI though and talk about how size matters, ladies and gentlemen. This is from Brett Winton from ARC, and he said Facebook has 10x the proprietary language data on database as was used to train llama models, and in images they have 20x more than that, and Instagram and YouTube have 2x more than that in uploaded video, and yet Tesla's data capture ability dwarfs all at another 20x. And it's very difficult to see what this looks like in scale. So here's another chart to give you some perspective of how much data not only do Tesla have, but how much they've been mining for 8 years plus. Every car records everything and uploads it to a massive number of data centers. But this is Tesla size versus YouTube, Instagram, Meta, etc. And YouTube, which is a monster, which is what we're on right now, is a spit in the bucket compared to the data that Tesla has. A lot of people talk about all these AI players and competition. Nobody is using data for real world AGI, baby AGI applications except for Tesla. And few see it. But they're waking up. We'll talk more about them waking up too. And also, AI is not dead. It's extremely hot. AI companies captured 35% of US startup investment, up 169% since 2022, and $106 million was raised by non-AI in the US this year. It's pretty big. AI is big. We know investing has fallen down, but it's all AI or nothing. Now, this is a Tesla slide too, a proof how Tesla is the leader in real-world AI. Stuff like insurance is AI-driven, Robotaxi, AI-driven, FSD, AI-driven, Optimus, AI-driven, Autobidder, AI-driven, energy storage to some extent. I don't know about lithium refining, if that's AI-driven or not, but service and collision as well. It's incredible. The collision warning system, unbelievable. There's a great video. Go search it on Twitter as to how a CyberTruck avoided a collision. A car was overtaking another car in the wrong lane, and literally the CyberTruck evaded action, which was only possible because of the speed, because of four-wheel steering. But it got out of the way and missed it by like an inch. This is the stuff that nobody else can do. Anyway, let's talk about 3 of the largest AI clusters on Earth from Hallmark's catalog. Elon co-founded and provided the initial seed capital for OpenAI, and then he got shafted, stabbed in the back. We'll talk more about that too in a minute. And the startup XAI has built up a 100K GPU cluster, and Tesla in Texas has another 100K cluster, and another 35K cluster of H100s in California. They also have Dojo running and up and live, and these models will be used for FSD and robotics, and ultimately will be used by many, many millions of people. This is all happening. The player with the most compute will win. That's it. We already know who that player is, and they're applying this compute to a real world use case, which is stunning. And shout out to Sawyer Merritt, 7 million cars driving 2,000 miles per second. That's where we are right now. That is an average estimated 62 billion miles per year. And again, all of that data is being mined and farmed. Now, despite this huge AI picture that I painted for you all, media hate Elon. This is the biggest snub in the history of the world. MSM ignore Elon as he's a threat to them in every way. They talk about the time 100 AI most influential people. 100 people. Elon doesn't make the list. He should be by far and away the king of the throne. It's a complete joke that they leave him off the list, and he's the only player on the planet doing baby AGI. And instead, they have a singer. Swift something is on the list. Explain to me, please, how Swift is an AI influencer. I don't know. This world is full of crap, and the sooner you guys wake up to it and realize it, the better off you will be. Ignore mainstream media. They have lost their way many years ago, but it's getting even more extreme now too. So, and other news too, within 26 trading days, by the way, I count trading days, not days, 26 trading days, Tesla Robotaxi will be running around Hollywood. And this is an AI rendering of what it looked like. Probably a two-seater. We'll see if we actually see it. Either way, other cars will be enabled to run around too. It's going to be exciting. And I know expectations are high. But I do believe Tesla stock will be under constant accumulation up until the 10th of October. I've been saying that for weeks now. And it has been. So we've gone from $170 up to 231 now or something. So it's under gradual accumulation because the Wall Street analyst folks are waking up. Time magazine, not so much. Wall Street, yes. And I haven't even talked about bots. They have 1,000 of these puppies working in their factories next year, doing real work. 1,000, maybe 3,000. Depends on how quickly they can scale them. And I'm not even talking about insurance. Tesla Insurance is a game changer. I'm working on another thing about total cost of ownership and how literally Tesla Insurance monitors your driving in real time behavior, and it will personalize premiums based on actual risk. Unbelievable. Compared to the traditional world that paints with a broad brush, one size fits all pricing, higher premiums to cover risks. This will all be bundled into the vehicle soon. Your financing, your insurance, maybe whatever else, your FSD, your supercharging in the bundle packages. And nobody can do this. The insurance industry has been trying to do real-time monitoring of driver behavior for at least 10 or 15 years now. I've never gotten it to work. Tesla just does it. They know exactly how good or bad you are as a driver. They will ding you. So we have a friend of the channel, Jeff Lutz. His price is tanking. His insurance price is tanking because his driving is exceptional. But if you are speeding or driving drunk or running red lights, your price will go up. That's maybe the time you need to go to your Geico or Progressive as well and let them do the law of large numbers stuff. Now, analysts, I did promise they're waking up. This is Blair. They now call Tesla the Apple of energy. It says a new bullish call on the stack. It's like the Apple of energy. What does that mean? Is they're becoming a utility? It could have many different meanings. But of course, if they're saying Apple, they're talking SaaS software. And energy ties into everything because battery storage is one of the big S curves, one of the big 4 S curves that's colliding right now. And I made a video or a white paper, I can't remember what it was, but how Tesla should easily be valued at a market cap of $1 trillion based on energy alone. The deals that they are doing are huge and they're all very lucrative. This is the installation of the first 444 Tesla Megapack batteries underway at the first stage of a 600 megawatt renewable energy hub in Victoria, Australia, one of the biggest grid-scale batteries in Australia. And this will cost nearly $500 million. And Tesla remains a market leader in EVs and the market leader in energy storage too. But hey, what does that mean? You know, the competition. Maybe the competition are coming. Yeah, sure, whatever. And Georgia in the United States doing the same thing. Another $500 million plant. Well, $450 million in the United States. Georgia Power secured a battery and equipment supply agreement. I think they call them BESAs for 500 megawatts, 2,000 megawatt hours, portfolio made up of 4 projects of varying sizes. Again, these deals are all monstrous. Everything Tesla does, they do it at extreme scale. Oh, speaking of, guess who has the biggest building in the world and also the biggest factory in the world? That's the Tesla Gigafactory. And by the way, it just got bigger. So they put on a huge extension, which is the AI data cluster at the back end. I think it's on, I don't know which, I think it's on the far end from here on the right-hand side. But Giga Texas is the largest factory building in the world by volume. And according to somebody's calculations, you could fit 194 billion hamsters in this building. Hope nobody tries that at home, everybody. Don't try to put 194 billion hamsters in your building. And this thing is scaling. This is from JoeTegtmeyer, friend of the channel. Shout out to him. He did a flyover a few days ago. Over 1,000 CyberTrucks, which actually they shipped all of them out of there in one holiday Sunday. While the world is on vacation and everything else, this factory does not sleep. And they are pumping these things out hand over fist, I reckon. They're at a weekly run rate of at least 1,700 right now. And they've got over 30,000 of these already built, and they're ramping fast, probably by 70,000 capacity by the end of the year. So, fun to watch. And China is also ramping up. In China, 14,400 Tesla insurance registrations were reported for the week of August 26th to September 1st. And the quarter is up 30% quarter over quarter and over 10% versus the Q3 of 2023. And it's the best quarter after 8 weeks. But still, you know, we need a little bit more to make it a bumper year. And everything is going up in the right direction, which is good. Now, a little bit of other Tesla news too that popped out. Tesla continues its run as the leader in brand loyalty with a rate of 67.8%, I think, for the first half of 2024, which is like no other brand out there. And Model 3 is even higher if you look at the specific model with the brand lineup. Loyalty rate of 72.1%. I know it may not sound like a lot, but it's higher than anything else that's out there. But there's another area where they're leading as well. And this is an interesting statistic because not only do the cars drive themselves, but you can drive them off a cliff and your whole family will be safe. Again, don't do that at home, everybody. But accident avoidance is also paramount. Tesla is now the least likely vehicle to be involved in a fatal accident. And I know these numbers might be a little bit weird and misleading, but if you look at total occupants involved in fatal accidents between 2017 and 2022, that's 6 years, there's 490 people. Yes, it's terrible that anybody dies, but Ford have killed 55,000 people. Just some perspective there. Now, there are probably more Fords on the road than there are Teslas because they've been around for a long time. But there are over 2 million Teslas on American roads. This is American data, by the way. And if you look at the other numbers, you got Land Rover, 575. You'd think, that's kind of close to Tesla. But remember, there's only 100,000 Land Rovers on the road, if that. And then you have Isuzu, 709. There's only 15,000 Isuzus in the United States. So you have to put things in perspective. Yes, there's a lot more Fords, but there's a lot less Land Rovers. And again, the odds, if you care about your life and your safety, and you drive like a maniac, you may want to consider a Tesla. So, not driving advice. Let's look at some charts. First of all, a little bit of perspective of where we are with Tesla as well. So there's a lot to cover here. From Cern Basher, friend of the channel, Tesla has a 41% average return over the last 14 years. And yes, trust me, I know the last 3 years have sucked, but zoom out sometimes and look at the big picture. And Cern, I hope you don't mind, add a little rocket ship to your chart to show you where we're going next, because things will be absolutely crazy. And exactly 8 weeks ago, I talked about having made a video called Pair Trade of the Decade, and I was ridiculed and mocked, saying I'm an idiot. There's no way Tesla will outperform Bitcoin. But I said 8 weeks ago to the day, 4th of July, 2024, Pair Trade of the Decade, the multiples by 2032 based on my price target analysis, and I've done nothing but build price targets and pricing models for Bitcoin and Tesla since 2017. It's not like I'm new to this. Like 6-7 years worth of models. I got hundreds of them. But I believe that Bitcoin could do a 9.34x from the current price at the time was 66,700. Tesla could do a 27x, and at the time was $177. And they are all my price targets. Take your pick your poison. The bear case for Bitcoin 2032 is 331K. Bear case for Tesla 2,681. Bull case for Bitcoin 986,000, just shy of $1 million by 2032. And excessive case for Tesla is $8,000 from my video, 8 ways to 8K. And that's heavily dependent on bots being a success. And therefore, 8 weeks ago, you would have made a 9x. Hypothetically, if these models shake out and you take an average of all, you would have made a 9x on Bitcoin or a 27x on Tesla if we get to these targets in 2032, which is no longer that far away. But what's stunning is what happened in the last 8 weeks. The pair swing is up 55%. 8 weeks ago, if you flipped one Bitcoin into Tesla, you would have got 377 shares. And that is now worth over $87,000. And Bitcoin has fallen 16% to 56.5. So if you look at the pair trade, Tesla's up 31%, Bitcoin's down 16%. That results in a 55.5% gain in 8 weeks. So yes, it has been interesting. But let's talk about some financials first and what's important. I shared this before, probably nearly a year ago. This is from Jeff Bezos, who never focused on earnings per share, or profit. And he knows those numbers are flawed. Okay? Everybody should look at free cash flow per share. Income Cern basher again. Free cash flow is everything. This is the cumulative operating cash flow, free cash flow for Tesla since the beginning of time. And it's going up and getting stronger all the time, which puts Tesla in a very, very strong position. And why kill the PE ratio? Well, because of earnings manipulation. It ignores capital structure and volatility in earnings as well. So that's why Tesla is a very special cat. Just like Amazon back in 2001, 2002, everybody wrote it off as being dead. But the free cash flow was kicking off was unreal. Nobody saw that because they were looking backwards at PEG ratios and PE ratios. Anyway, a little bit of history there. Also, the competition are failing fast. This is from CNBC in Europe. A declaration of bankruptcy. The unions lash out as Volkswagen weighs possible German plant closures. And I could talk about Ford and GM and Volvo and Stellantis and all these other players. They're all in a world of hurt. They are all retrenching. The revolution is coming and they are walking away from it. It's going to be a fatal mistake. And all these companies will be bankrupt unless they get bailed out by governments. And Volkswagen, sadly, is planning to close 2 plants for the first time ever. And this is a beautiful little piece from Connecting the Dots. Karma says, dis, and die. I actually thought that was the best phrase I've ever read all year because I like alliteration. But this is when not only did Time magazine diss Elon Musk, but Volkswagen dissed Herbert Diess, who warned them what was coming, who said they need to really pull themselves up by the britches, revolutionize everything real fast, or Tesla will destroy them. And he said that 2 or 3 years ago. They flicked him. That was a freaking mistake. Anywho, the other fun news that ties into this story too is you got your 2 dogs with fleas merging together, partnering, etc. And as I mentioned at the beginning, Volkswagen to invest $5 billion in EV startup RIVN. Well, it looks like Volkswagen will probably not be able to pay for this. No mun, no fun. So RIVN, don't bank on that money. And all of the competition are retrenching and they're building hybrids. Let me explain one more time why hybrids are stupid. Okay, real simple. Increased complexity and many points of failure. You got a petrol, gasoline engine, whatever, with an electric engine. Higher manufacturing costs, higher maintenance costs, higher repair costs, inefficiency in all conditions, heavy and slow environmental impact, and they are no longer cheaper than battery electric vehicles. Price parity's gone. So hybrids will be gone too in 3 to 5 years. They only do them now because it's what they know and they're falling back on it. And they think, oh, we're green and stuff, and they're not at all. Not at all. Anyway, let's look at another chart. This is Tesla on the ATR model. And remember, yes, it's been a choppy period over the last 3 years. We are now at level 3.5, up to level 6. The gain to level 6, which is the all-time high, is 80.54% from where we are today. And the chart is looking strong. We are going to rebound, at least for the next 26 trading days. And then we'll see what the Robotaxi show is like. It'll be fun. Let's talk about some analysts as well. These are the $400 price target analysts. Alfie Quant, Donior, Financial Genius, Randy Kirk's in there, ARK Invest, Sasha Jensen, Tom Nash, Bruce Burnworth, Lord Pretty Flacco, also a friend of the channel, and a whole bunch more, whole Mars catalog. These are, and of course, you would have 420 on there. But the point is, you've got a mix of retail analysts and professional analysts. And by the way, the retail analysts tend to know a lot more than the professionals. But as I mentioned, the analysts in Wall Street are warming up to this. Another price target just reiterated today, live, fresh, Morgan Stanley, who are probably the number one Wall Street firm that understands Tesla more than any other Wall Street firm. They maintained a $310 share by Morgan Stanley. Good news. And this is big. Wall Street are waking up. Tesla up nearly 6%. Best performer in the S&P 500 and NASDAQ 100 so far. From Data Talk, everybody understands AI is big. Everybody except for Time Magazine understands Elon Musk is the top player in this space. And he has killed himself to make this happen. This is the genius of our generation, who is the most hated human, which is... He's always under fire, and he's firing on all cylinders, and he's driven by hate, which is great. So the future is very bright, and he's a genius of our time.